Hello, everybody. Test, test, test. I see it. We're good to go. Hi. I see myself there. I got the mic working, and yeah, I'm ready to go. Weather extra. Here we go. Lots to talk about. A lot of confusion out there, too, when it comes to the forecast. I'll share with you some of the questions I've had this morning, and I love the fact that people reach out and they chat with me and stuff about, if you've ever been to my Facebook page, I talk to everybody. Even if it's just a hello, even if you say something sarcastic, I will answer back with something sarcastic because I'm really good at that. But some of the questions I've had, they're really good and they're really inquisitive about what's happening this weekend. So I'll get to the weekend forecast. But first, the radar. And there's rain falling still right now. We talked about how there would be some rain Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and Thursday morning. And it's still raining south of the river. It's been raining all morning. If you're in Huntsville, you have no idea what I'm talking about. It's just cloudy. Athens, no. Fayetteville, no. Newmarket, no. Florence, no. Scottsboro, no. It's been raining south, like Albertville to Gunnersville to Holly Pond to Coleman to Moulton to Vinemont. And that's all going to continue to move east. And the rain should come to an end here soon. And then we're just left with clouds and temperature around 50. And today is really not a high impact day, but there was some rain and the fog for the morning commute. But certainly not what we're watching for the weekend, obviously. Temperatures, I need to get closer to 51. I missed the 3-degree guarantee by a degree yesterday because we had a little more sunshine in Huntsville right before the rain came. Once the rain came, the temperature cooled off, and I would have been right if the rain had just come just a little bit faster. But, yeah, it's all good. Yes, Sarah, it did rain in Athens earlier. It hasn't rained. It's not raining there now, though. But thank you. I appreciate that. Hello from Decatur. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. What's going to be scaled back? I have no idea what that question means, Steve. What's scaled back? I don't know what that means. We don't have any snow in the forecast. So I don't know what you're scaling back. There's your temperatures. Afternoon planner, around 50, mostly cloudy. And whatever rain we have out there will be out of there soon. And overall, not a bad day. Again, I hope I hit my 51. So let's look ahead. I know Brad was playing with this graphic before I came back here. I saw him. He's at home doing it. I don't think he changed anything on the graphic, but I took the Euro model, and it's been pretty consistent for the last 24 hours, and really the timeline or changes. There has been no changes to the forecast, at least since yesterday. But timing it out for you, you go into Saturday morning at 6:15 a.m., and you see a lot of pink there, right? The temperatures will be in the mid to upper 20s as the precipitation moves in with the system, and it starts sometime late Friday night into Saturday morning. There will be a period of sleet and freezing rain that could cause a few icy spots in the Tennessee Valley, probably favoring areas mainly west of I-65, but still, I'll just say everybody to make it easy. And then as we go through the morning hours, there'll be a little warm air that works into this. So what you're going to see is you're going to see this pink, which is sleet and freezing rain, transition to just plain old rainfall. And as it does, most locations will get into some rain. I talked to myself this morning and I said, I got a high on Saturday of 35. I don't know what I want to do with the high temperature yet for Saturday and Sunday, but I can say this. It's going to be above freezing for many locations. And if this particular forecast model comes to fruition, most of us will have changed over to rain for the afternoon, and that's what will happen throughout much of the evening too. It's mainly just a rain event at this point. The exception would be far northwest Alabama, like western Lauderdale County, northwestern Colbert County, where you see a little pink there. Not even Florence and the Shoals. Like I'm talking like Waterloo and Cherokee. And I would want to maybe add a little pink to northeast Alabama. There's going to be a little wedge of cold. And I think like if you're like in Long Island or maybe as far south as Stevenson or Bryant, you could stay sleet or freezing rain a little longer. But most of us at this point have changed over to rain. That rain will come down. It could be heavy at times as we go into Saturday night. Put it in perspective, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the forecast now. That, if we were cold enough for snow on a 10-to-1 ratio, would be equivalent to like 2 feet. So with all the system tracking more north, it's kept the colder temperatures or the temperatures below freezing enough to keep it snow to the north. And we get into mainly rainfall Saturday night into Sunday morning. Could this thing veer back to the south and we get a little bit colder air in here? Of course we could. It's still only Thursday. The main brunt of this doesn't fall until Saturday. 48 hours is an eternity in weather. But for now, this is the forecast. And that yellow that you see there, that's like heavy rain. In fact, Some of the forecast models on the Euro hinted at a little rumble of thunder Saturday night into Sunday morning. That would be crazy. But nonetheless, the temperatures, wherever they end up on Saturday into Saturday night, that will not only be your high temperature for Saturday, but it'll be your high temperature for Sunday. Because on Sunday, the temperature will be warmest in the morning. So many of you, this is a question I got from a gentleman who emailed me. I see the 10-day forecast and I see 35 on Saturday and Sunday and we're above freezing. How's it going to get bad? Well, let me explain. So on Sunday, after it's rained and 2-3 inches of rainfall on Saturday and Sunday morning, there's so much water everywhere, right? It's got to run off somewhere. The roads are wet. The trees are wet. The cars are wet. Then what you do is you bring the front through and you see what happens. Green goes to pink, pink goes to blue. As the system pulls away and the bulk of the precipitation has already fallen, it will transition to a little sleet, freezing rain, and maybe even a little snow. Accumulations, not much. But it's a good signal to tell you how cold it is. So watch your temperature drop, boom, by 8 p.m. Low 20s west, and it's the low 20s that will become teens by 11 p.m., 10 p.m., and then 20s for areas east. What do you think that's going to do to all the water and wet roads that we have out there, right? Got to ice them up. And you can pre-treat all you want. It's going to be really hard for them to pre-treat because we're going to have so much rain before it gets cold. But that rapid drop in temperature with just a little wintry precipitation on the back edge of this thing means that some of the worst road conditions will probably be after most of the storm is out of here. It's when the frigid temperatures move in. It's like when you look at the 10-day forecast, and so many people do this, there's so much more to explain about a 10-day forecast than just what you see, you know. So one really good question I had was the temperature profile for the weekend. Oh, another thing too. It's not just your surface temperature. Gotta make sure I say this. Sometimes it's more important what your temperature is at what we call like the 850 millibar level or like above the surface. Okay. So if your temperature above the surface is way above freezing, even if you're like 27 at the surface, that's going to fall as liquid, and then it falls into the cold, boom, freezing rain. If the air at the surface is really shallow, I mean, it will literally turn to ice right when it hits something. But the column of air from start to the top is so important. It's not just your surface temperature. That's why sometimes, like, I think it was January 2024, we had that debacle sleet fest thing that happened, right? I mean, it was 26 degrees at my house, and you think that it would be snowing, but it wasn't. My truck was just coated with ice. It was freezing rain because the air aloft was above freezing. It was falling as liquid into the colder air and then freezing on contact because the surface of my truck was below freezing. We had some colder temperatures prior to the storm getting here. So that's what can happen. And that's the reason why it's not just straightforward. Like, okay, like, 35, we can't get icy. Oh, we're going to get real icy Sunday night. It's just not going to be coming from the sky. It's going to be already on the ground. And that's a hard concept for people. It's like, okay, if it's not snowing or raining or sleeting or freezing rain, how's it going to get icy? Everything's going to be drenched. Anyway, ice potential, you can see, again, areas northwest. I talked about this just minutes ago. Colbert County, Lauderdale County. You may stay sleet and freezing rain just a little bit longer than everybody else. But overall, though, this is trending much better than it looked on Monday and Tuesday, as it looks like temperatures will be just enough to keep it from being a massive ice storm, but still an impact across the area. The forecast model had to break out the rainfall graphic. 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. That's a soaker. That's what I call a gully washer. And then you drop the temperature from that 35 on Sunday. Remember, it's in the morning. So by the evening, when Brad comes in, it'll be like 20s. And then when he's done with the shift, it'll be teens. And then it stays really cold Monday and Monday night. And if this all doesn't sound familiar to you, take you back to January 2024 when almost all the precipitation fell as rain and sleet, and we couldn't get out of our houses for 9 days. That's not going to be the case with this one, I don't think. But kind of scary, eerie. It's along the same lines. I think areas in northwest Alabama on that storm had a little snow, but everybody else had rain and sleet. Everybody was complaining that morning on our social media page or we were doing a stream. I didn't get the snow I thought I was going to get, even though we didn't have any predicted. And, this was a miss. And then we were locked into our homes for literally 7 days. That Thursday, we had another burst of some light rain and then another shot of frigid air. It just kept coming one after another, right? Does that sound familiar? Do you remember that when we kept getting cold, cold, cold and we couldn't get the roads to melt? Like it was crazy, right? Look what happens on the back edge of that 10-day forecast I pointed to just there. Yeah, we might go 42 on Wednesday, but then it's like a struggle in the 30s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with overnight lows back in the teens again. So it could be, I don't think it's going to be 2024 all over again. I think we learned a lot from that. And I do think that, especially in Huntsville, everybody's much more prepared. But it doesn't have to have precipitation falling from the sky to have a situation where you can't just break through the icy roads. You know, there's a lot of water coming this weekend. Well, no matter how it falls from the sky, it's trivial. And those of you who want snow might throw an egg at me right now. But if you don't care what the precipitation is, it doesn't matter what it falls from the sky, sleet, freezing rain, or snow, it's still going to make the roads wet. And all it takes is just one shot of frigid air to like lock it all up and make it icy. That's what's going to happen Sunday night. So somebody asked me too, was another question I got on Facebook this morning, talking about thicknesses and stuff. I'm never going to break out like a thickness graphic on air in the morning. That is just way too much. I have like a 1 minute hit in the morning. I have enough trouble just getting the forecast out in time. But that was an interesting question and that was nice. And that's somebody who really actually probably knows weather or maybe even the aviation side of weather too, which is a pretty cool question, but we just don't have time to do that. I wish we could probably do it on Weather Extra. It'd probably make more sense, but, the timing of the precipitation, somebody asked me, I feel like the timing has changed. That was another question I got that came from Laura this morning. I talk with Laura all the time. And I said, I didn't think the timing changed. I think a lot of people, and she said this too, when it started raining yesterday, she thought that was the storm. And I was like, no. This is a separate thing. So the rain that's falling now has nothing to do with the winter storm this weekend. And maybe that's where it threw off the timing. People thought maybe it was coming in Wednesday and Thursday, but this has always been like a Friday night, Saturday, Sunday event. And that hasn't really changed. So, another question. Will I lose power or will this knock over my trees in my front yard? That's the one. I'm not a tree whisperer. I don't know which trees will fall. It's above my pay grade, but I can tell you right now that even though we might not have a tremendous amount of sleet and freezing rain coming from the sky, when everything gets soaked, and I've seen this happen before in other markets I've worked in, and then you get a blast of really cold air. It happened in Peoria, Illinois when I worked there one time. It rained all day. The temperature was 50 degrees, okay? It happened in Cheyenne for me too. That's another story. So it's 50 degrees. Blast of air comes in, cold, Arctic blast from Canada, right into Peoria, Illinois. It was in February, I want to say 2012. 2009. And the temperature went from 51 at like 2 p.m. to like 11 by 6 p.m. And we got reports across the entire middle Illinois area, central Illinois, of trees falling. Because the trees actually started to freeze because they had so much liquid in them. I mean, where's all that rainfall going to go when the temperature drops that fast? And there was numerous reports of not just trees down, but trees hitting power lines falling, power outages. Next thing you go, boom, we had like a full scale, like beast mode going on for like trying to fix this because we had talked about the cold temperatures, but everyone just thought because it was going to rain, no big deal. Rain, we got that. We're all right. They're going to drop. The temperature going to fall quick. And sure enough, there was numerous power outages, and that's exactly what happened. I don't think this case is quite that rapid of a drop, but it's still along the same lines. That happened in Cheyenne one time too. Cheyenne, Wyoming had a major drop in temperature after some rain, and trees falling all over the place, limbs falling all over the place. They become ice, and they get heavy, and they fall, especially trees that aren't in good shape. So that's a concern. There's always so much more with weather than just what's face value with it, you know. But anyway, I take a sip, everybody. I had the worst sore throat in the world, and I need this drink badly. Hopefully, I'm not getting sick. I got to work all weekend. I don't have a choice. All right, I'll have you on today. Wow. Kate, let me try to answer some of these. Thank you. You said I was hilarious. Sarcasm and hilarious, a borderline. So, but William says the weathermen are in cahoots, spelled wrong, with the generator manufacturers. Yeah, I don't think so, bro, because I ain't getting no cut from that. You know what? Let me just say this. If they paying the meteorologist to make some cash to sell their generator manufacturers, well, I'll tell you this. I didn't get my money, and I'm pretty stupid then because I don't have it. So, nope, I definitely don't forecast based on the generators. You're very welcome, Denise. Kirsten, hi. Good to see you on. I haven't seen you on in a while. It's awesome to see you. Jackie, thank you for all your hard work. I'm sure it's not easy. No, sometimes it's not. It's all good. I'd rather deal with snow in Rhode Island and Connecticut is getting than ice, Timothy says. Yes, Timothy and I are from the same area. So, yeah, Timothy, you're exactly right. I would much rather have snow. Oh, my gosh. It'd be so much less stressful to have to explain. Snow, boom, go play. But when you talk about ice, obviously it's a different scenario, and even rain turning to ice. So yeah, I'm thankful for one thing. I'm thankful that this is not a full blown ice storm like it was looking Monday and Tuesday. I mean, it was looking like it was going to be like Armageddon bad, and the track north helped. But I will say this, don't think for a second that low pressure can't track a little bit more south again. You know, these forecast model runs, I mean, we're the one deciphering it, and we're deciding what scenario. Usually we take a blend of multiple models. We don't usually stick to just one. And keep in mind too, for those of you who are like, you know, weather, like the European model has like ensembles that go with it. There's a whole bunch of scenarios that play out within that one model itself that aren't all the same. So have fun with that. So what we do is we try to take a blend of it all. And it's usually not just one model, but the overall trend since Tuesday night was to track this low north and bring in even warmer temperatures, enough to stay away from a widespread icing event. Even the GFS, which is the American model, hopped on that last night finally. It was very bullish. It was keeping the cold in a lot, and then it finally backed off last night and kind of sided with the Euro. But there's a couple of high-res models, too, that still have a decent ice event for, like, northwest Alabama. That's why I keep that in the forecast to cover my butt. Mike, BS, you don't know what you're going to get, the mountains of North Alabama. I've seen this 100 times. Mike, you probably are a much better meteorologist than I ever will be. So if you think, Mike, that you know what you're going to get in the mountains of North Alabama, why are you watching the page? You're all good. You don't need me. You're fine. Joey, the weather report brought to you by the local milk, bread, and egg farmers. Yeah, the cut that I'm not getting from that. And who buys bread and milk? Who buys bread and milk? What was the other thing they buy now? What was that? Bread, milk, and eggs. Who's making French toast, bro? Like, I don't get it. Like, you know what my shopping is before Saturday comes when I have to get stuck here the whole weekend? I get 4 big, huge bags of potato chips over at Costco. I buy 2 12-packs of soda. I know what you all were thinking. 12 packs of soda, Poppy. And I bring it over here, and I devour potato chips, and I devour Poppies. Yes, Poppy is a soda. And that's what I do. That's what prepares me for this. A bag of Funyuns always works good. And I love having onion breath around the anchors. They just love that. They're like, oh, Jeff, you stink. I'm like, I know. It's great. I can't hang on here anymore. I got to go. But I'm on air for the TVL here hitting a little bit. I got to go out there and put a mic on. And then I got to play the noon game too. I got 2 hits there. I'll keep updates coming. Any big changes, obviously, Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis is in tonight. He'll keep you updated on it. And, yeah, we're good to go. No real changes from the time he worked last night to the time I came in this morning. I'm just hoping I hit the 3-degree guarantee so I don't miss it again 2 days in a row, filling in for Eric Burke. If I were to miss it twice in a row, I would be really, really, really bad. It would be awful. But any subtle changes that come into play with the forecast, obviously we'll keep you updated. And any questions that you have, shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook. If it's a really serious question, I take the time to answer it. If you just write me a message to just be mean, I usually will ignore it. But everybody have a fantastic day.